For all things Halloween, this is hauntformer, and welcome back to another film R.I.P. review. And in today's R.I.P. review, we are talking about the sequel, kind of, to the 2015 somewhat found footage horror film Unfriended. Today, we are talking about Unfriended Dark Web. So I never officially made an Unfriended review on my channel. I didn't technically see it in theaters. I actually saw it on Redbox after it came out. But I did manage to snag Unfriended Dark Web in theaters. And it's not really a direct sequel to the original, but it has the same format. If you don't know how these movies work, essentially instead of being a found footage film from a camera, this is found footage from a laptop screen, a computer screen of some sort. In the case of this film, the laptop itself is very important because it connects the antagonists and the protagonists of the film, the good guys and the bad guys, together essentially. So the basic story is, I believe he's a college-age student. They look definitely older than the kids in the original Unfriended. These college kids, I guess, I'll call him, you know, the main character is an older guy. He gets a laptop from this cyber cafe that I think he works at. And it was in the Lost and Found, so he takes it home. He technically steals it, and it belonged to someone that is very mysterious at first. But throughout looking at Facebook, looking through the files on the computer, they determine that this person is a very bad individual that happens to be doing things on the dark web, abducting people, torturing people. It's very disturbing stuff. I don't want to give away a lot of things in this review because I want you guys to check out this movie, so I'll leave it very vague by just saying that there are some bad people on the dark web, and it's not what it seems at first. There is much more going on behind the scenes of this movie, and at the very end of this film, you kind of figure out how everything pieces together. There is a whole group of people from the dark web attacking the main group of characters, and basically because they're experts at the internet and experts at hacking, they're able to find out the addresses of each of the individual characters and find ways of taking them down. So it's a very interesting premise of a film. It's definitely more realistic than the original Unfriended, in my opinion. And I would have to go on record saying that I personally think it is better than the original Unfriended. I think it's a step above. In fact, I think a lot of people who didn't see this film were not big fans of the original Unfriended. I think if this film was just called Dark Web and stood alone as its own film, I think it would have done a whole lot better because it is a pretty good movie.
Too real. I think that is real.
Guys, that's what they're trading.
Trade what?
All those videos.
We have to do something, and we have to do it now.
Who's that?
I know some people are complaining about this film, but the acting, I think, is a step above. The character development is a step above the original. There are a few key scenes that I thought were a little bit weaker than others, but on the whole, the story was more interesting and realistic. The characters I really felt for, and their performances were compelling, and the main antagonists, that I don't want to completely give away, but the dark web people, definitely are very interesting and mysterious. I know the original was more paranormal. This one is definitely more lifelike and holds true to a lot of things that actually happen on the real dark web, which, you know, is a very scary, horrible place on the actual internet. It's a place where essentially, you know, a lot of illegal activity goes on, and this movie kind of explores that in an interesting light. So, on the whole, I actually pretty much enjoyed Unfriended Dark Web. There's not really too many things I can complain about. The performances were solid. There's a few parts that it got kind of quiet and a little bit boring. And my other issue is a lot of the scenes involve people typing, and that typing is very crucial to the plot, but it's sometimes hard to read. Maybe that's just because, you know, my eyes are bad, but it was harder to read that text, even on a big screen at the movie theater, just because of the way they kind of put the messaging. But I thought the characters were very compelling, very interesting. The plot was very interesting and well written too. And I actually felt bad when, you know, a lot of these characters were being abducted and things are happening to them. And some of the characters really didn't deserve any of this. It was just kind of a whole misunderstanding. But at the end, you figure out that, you know, it's game night. That's all I'm gonna say. Because that'll make sense when you watch the movie. It's game night. And that it really is. Overall, I'm going to give Unfriended Dark Web a 3.5 out of 5 skulls on my R.I.P. Reviews rating scale. I thought this was a pretty well done movie. And you may not know, but this movie actually has 2 endings, and you don't know which one you're going to get in the theater. I believe I had ending A, that's the main one that everyone sees, but there's also an alternate ending that kind of jumbles up things a little bit. There's a great YouTube channel called Foundflix where you can check out both of those endings and how they compare and contrast from each other. It's very, very interesting that they threw that in, and I'm glad that they did that with an Unfriended film. Perhaps we will even see a sequel in the future. Thank you all for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe, and remember, as always, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer.